topic of this episode is, how does one heal and when do you know when you are healed? And can one be fully healed?
I already know the answer to that. No.
And that's the episode. Thank you for tuning in.
And cut. Okay, but we're talking about like healing in the sense of heartbreak. Long story short is I met this dude. Honestly, when I met him, I was like, you're not my type, don't like you, probably will never like you. And then I ended up spending a lot of time with him, and I think feelings were starting to develop a little bit when he told me that he started dating someone. And I was very upset and hurt about it and realized that, oh my God, maybe I made a mistake by kind of friend zoning him.
Let's talk about the hurt piece. What hurts about all of this?
Oh God, it was like every fear I've suppressed and held from my previous experiences. When I told him that like, hey, I think I caught some feelings, he basically did not reciprocate, so I was rejected.
Well, he was already with another woman.
Okay, maybe this is when I'm like swept up in the rom-com moment. I thought he was gonna be like, wait, I feel the same way. You finally confess your feelings, like, let's do this.
Let me drop this woman's heart from you.
For me, I was like, it's so hard for me to find someone that I can just be myself and have so much fun and feel comfortable around. For him to be like, oh, there's some other girl that I like more than you, it just really hurt. I think the pain came from the fact that it felt like he picked another girl over me. And I've had several experiences, whether it was like friendships with the male, dating someone, year-old friendships, and as soon as they met another girl, it was like they completely dropped me. So I was carrying a little bit of hurt from each of those instances, and maybe even from when I was younger. You know, I had like the really hot best friend, and anytime a guy would talk to me, the goal was to get to her.
So it's like you felt like you got shafted again.
Yes, and it just feels like a constant
recurring theme.
A lot of people say like you recreate scenarios in your childhood where you don't feel like you get enough love, so you seek out the same situation hoping to change the ending so that you can prove to yourself, hey, I am worthy of this type of love, but that's not how you're supposed to do it.
I think it's just interesting that like this wound that you have from the past is both interfering with your present relationships and coloring the way you see like things happening to you.
I was very much in like a victim pity mindset. Like, it's the first time that I had to really just like look at all of the past experiences and actually feel the pain from it. Because before I kind of just was like, rejected me. And obviously, logically, I know like what's meant for me will always work out. In hindsight, looking back at these men that it didn't work out with, I'm like, thank God, right? Like now I don't even think I would be attracted to them, but I never allowed myself to actually like feel the pain and rejection.
Well, let's do that now. So
let's make you cry.
So like, yeah, what is at the root of this? Because I think what you're fearing, you don't actually fear, because you are someone who's like putting yourself out on the internet, getting critiqued all the time.
But that's different.
Okay, maybe. In high school, some guy chooses someone else over you. What does that imply to you about you?
It might not even have been high school. Oh, it was high school. Oh my God.
Yeah, what was his name? Brad. Okay, what was the Brad?
No, we're not going to call him Brad.
Chad.
He was actually Asian.
Oh, maybe that's why you like white guys.
No, we're not keeping any of that in there. I really had the biggest crush on this boy, and I liked him for so many years. He ended up going to my high school. He finally started talking to me. We're like flirting. I was like, oh my God, finally, like we're gonna date. I find out that while he was flirting with me, he was hooking up with my best friend and with another girl in my grade who happened to be like my arch nemesis.
Seeing three women at once.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
It was just so much pain. And I thought that we really liked each other. That was my first instance of feeling like maybe if I was better in some way, prettier, I don't know, he maybe would have picked me.
So I'm noticing a couple themes. One is just a feeling of rejection, like someone being picked over. And then second, there's also a feeling deceived, like you thought you had this connection similar to
Yes.
And that hurts.
That's the worst part, the connection part. Because for me, I don't feel that connection that often. So I'm like, how can you throw away something so easily?
This sucks. We've said a lot of things. Now let's just take 10 seconds, just silence, take it all in, and then I'm gonna ask you a question.
You know what the worst part is? Oh wait, I can't sit in silence. I'm just kidding, I love silence.
What is your intuition telling you now?
I feel like I'm gonna cry. Exactly what you want. I don't know, I think I'm like proud of myself for liking someone so deeply.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, and it hurts, but for the first time, instead of energetically going after, why would they do that? Why didn't they choose me? It's like returning back to myself and consoling my wound, being like, they can abandon you or not choose you, but I can always choose myself. All I really wanted to hear was like, you are great the way you are. And it didn't work out because they weren't your people. So not only were they not choosing me, I was also abandoning myself a little bit every time.
You rejected yourself in a way.
Yeah, every time.
Well, that's beautiful. So what you're saying is when you kind of quiet yourself down, what comes up is you're just proud of yourself for going through this, for trying the best you could, and for not responding in a way that you used to.
Yeah, and I think it was the first time I really turned inwards. I kind of like told inner parts of me that you actually are enough.
It's easy to love yourself when you're feeling good,
Yeah.
have a good day's sleep, whatever, you're on your game, but to get rejected, to get hit on that same wound and then still be like, no, I still choose to be like, hey, I'm enough.
Yeah, and like being loving towards myself and letting myself feel the pain, because a lot of the times I thought that, oh, you taking so long to get over someone, that shows that you're weak. And that was like neglecting my own feelings. So the first time I'm like, you are allowed to hold on to this person for as long as you need. Like, I'm gonna let you feel whatever you want to feel. And it's painful, but ironically, I think actually that is the fastest way to let go of emotions in people. I'm really grateful actually that this happened. I think it really made me confront a lot of things that I didn't want to look at. A lot of the other wounds that I had was just, it was all tied together. And it's almost like a promise to repair this broken relationship I had with myself. So yeah, there was a lot of crying. Way worse than this.
I think you were able to get this lesson in the most efficient way. Like, all things considered, this is not the worst heartbreak in the world.
No, it wasn't.
And this was a really important lesson. God, the universe, life was like, here's this growth opportunity for you. And that's good, because that just means possibly that love's around the corner.
Yeah, I thought that too. Actually, I was like, no, I literally feel like I'm about to meet my husband very soon. You know how at the end of the video games, you have one big boss that you're supposed to defeat before you level up?
Yeah.
This was that.
Was it a big boss though?
Not like the heartbreak part, but like the work I had to do post that, where I had to look at it. So much in this Pandora box of mine that I had like stored under my bed.
Right.
That feels like, oh my God, like everything is just hurling out. And it was like a big purge, you know?
Well, it's a good feeling.
It is. I think I just had like to squeeze out a few more tears, and then I was and I did it here, so now I think I'm ready. I'm like over it.
Okay, congratulations. I'll send you my bill. Well, that was yours. Shall we go to mine?
Yeah. You want to talk about it? When was your last relationship?
It was 10 years ago. It ended 10 years ago, and it was 7 years long.
Why am I always shocked every time you say it? 7 years is so long.
I know. The first 2 years were just like a honeymoon phase, total bliss, like all the oxytocin and endorphins.
Yeah.
I completely just lost myself. And you know, a lot of people say like that goes away. Like, it was always just really good. We were just like this. And we were also each other's first love. I don't know if that matters a ton, but
That's so cute. I think I'm gonna cry again.
hey, this is my episode, okay? I cry.
Who ended it?
You know, we were together from 20 to 27. She was an optometrist. She had her career set in place. She kind of knew who she was. And I was kind of lost. I went to business school because I didn't know what else to do. And once I got into business school, I was like, why am I here? I was just kind of confused the whole time. Once we hit about 7 years, I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to marry her, right?
Yeah.
And not because she wasn't the one, but because I don't see myself as a husband.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a little boy.
You didn't feel like maybe I just stay until I am ready?
I think I felt like I needed to be apart from her to get ready. Because I feel like when I was with her, I felt like I had everything I needed. I was just like, I'm already happy. Why would I take risks? Why would I put myself in weird situations? Maybe I felt like I couldn't grow with her. And maybe for that reason, we're not compatible. But again, I won't know until I meet someone else.
Maybe you like felt so comfortable with her that it made you not want to leave your comfort zone. So you were like, I need to make myself uncomfortable in order to take risks. And that means like brand new.
Like, there was a deeper part of me that was like, you need to like switch things up majorly, because the way things are going right now, you're kind of like plateauing.
Yeah.
And if you're plateauing, you're basically declining. And our relationship was starting to decline as well.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. And so eventually I was just like, hey, maybe we should just take a break and see what that's like. I would never ever thought in a million years, but just given the place where I was at that moment, I feel like I need to remove this one part so that I can kind of figure out the other parts. And then that turned to a separation. I remember like 2 or 3 months in, I see a picture of her on Facebook with like another guy. And I was like, oh, like
The gut punch?
yeah, like this is actually
the worst
happening.
feeling ever.
Because originally I just thought, hey, we'll separate and then we'll come back after a year after I figure my stuff out. But then she started seeing a guy, and it was one of those things where like the moment we separated, like we had been together for 7 years, and then just one like little thing, and it was just like the integrity or the purity of the relationship was just not there anymore.
But do you think immediately after you broke up, your life trajectory changed? You were
Yeah,
like,
it went down. down.
yeah, but it's got to go down a little before it goes up.
Yes.
Who do you think took the breakup harder?
I think I did. Maybe she's a stronger person and able to process things better.
See, this is the problem, is like we almost make the person who can move on faster and not feel things this better standard. It's not. And I think that's why we're taught to like run away from emotions. Is we're like, you moved on faster, you have no emotions, you don't feel sadness.
I must have loved you more. You didn't love me as much.
Right.
That kind of stuff. Yeah.
No, but I
But
don't.
that actually is not relevant because me and her probably have different emotional kind of attachments or
Right.
whatever.
I think it's problematic to label emotions as weaker.
When I look apart from myself, I'm actually very happy that she found someone that is like loving her the way she deserves to be loved. And
Aw, so nice of you. That
Yeah,
means
I
that you
don't know.
truly healed and got over them because you actually wish them well.
well, for a long time I felt bad. I felt like I had messed up. I had destroyed this beautiful thing. I felt like I had hurt her. And so for her to find love again and I think find a greater love, I'm happy because it makes me feel less guilty or less bad.
So how long do you think it took to like fully heal from it or move on?
Dude, I was really bad. I think it took like 8 because only really in the past year or two. The first couple years after we broke up, I was doing drugs. I was not facing the things.
Yeah, you were suppressing
I was
emotions.
suppressing the emotions. And then eventually I moved to New York and that kind of like threw a wrench in things as well because I was like dating probably when I wasn't supposed to. Dude, I remember literally like one of the first dates, this bar by Bryant Park, and I basically just told the woman that I moved here because I just got in a long-term relationship. And then she was just like, oh, okay. And then she just like never responded to me the next day because she was just like, dude, this guy's like not ready like,
Yeah.
for anything. But I think it took me so long because I didn't heal properly. I didn't actually face the things. On the surface, it was the breakup.
Yeah.
And that was very painful. But underneath that, it was like really core fundamental things of like, who am I? And do I really love myself? And my relationship with my parent, like all these fundamental things that I didn't go through any of this because I was in a lovey-dopey relationship from 20 to 27.
Yeah. No, that is so
I got out
true.
of that and I was like, oh, this is real life.
Yeah.
And real life is painful.
And it just like forces you to dig up all of that stuff you didn't want to look at. And I think we should both be grateful that eventually we did do that because so many people go on with their entire lives running away from it.
I would rather have my life now with my sense of purpose and my whole faith, and everything has changed because I actually wasn't happy towards the end of that relationship, even though I loved her. But even now, like, there's still pain there.
Don't tell me that.
If I really want to, I can go in there.
Okay,
And go
access
in-
it now and give me some tears.
It's hard. My heart's too hardened now. But yesterday I was watching like a movie. It was like a sad movie, and I started tearing up.
It reminded you of her?
Yeah.
But what if I get into a relationship that's 7 years long? We get divorced? Like, that terrifies me.
Dude.
You never know.
But I don't regret any of this.
I know.
Better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all, I guess. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't
Probably.
know. You can't convince me that right now.
Yeah. I'll say this. It was some of the happiest moments of my life were with her.
Oh my god, but then you're not hooking up with her and I'm gonna cry.
I'm not making it better.
Because it makes me feel like you lost that. Alright, tell me this. Have you fallen in love since then?
No.
Oh my god!
Yeah, but that's because like I wasn't ready. I had a lot of stuff to work on. 1 included getting over her. 2, like just coming into myself.
We just like don't ever find that person that makes us like feel that happy again. That is my greatest fear.
Why is that your fear? You don't even know what that's like. So
I got a
You're-
taste of it.
then you'll get a taste of it again.
You didn't.
No, I do get glimpses of it here and there. I can't compare like 2 or 3 dates to 7 years, but I do have
So you
moments.
haven't had a relationship since then?
No.
Wow. I was kind of hoping that you would tell me, hey, by year 5, you completely forget about this person.
No, I think I've healed, but it'll still hurt. It's like a bruise. If I press on the bruise.
Yeah, but bruises are supposed to go away.
Okay. It's a metaphor. We can use another one. a scar
A
or something.
scar? It's
yeah.
been a scar? And you telling me like the pain never goes away. It is kind of beautiful, but it's also
It decreases significantly to a point where you're not like depressed or something. But I feel like if you're that with a person that long, they kind of become a part of you. And maybe when I meet someone else and fall in love again, it'll just kind of go away a lot.
Yeah,
completely.
maybe it does take meeting someone else to replace that feeling. So you have faith that you will.
Yeah, and I think it'll actually even be better.
It definitely will be better because you're a better version.
Yeah. Now I have
Yeah.
greater capacities, and I
Yeah.
think it'll probably be a little less like, gosh, the highs. Dude, it was like a drug. We were like addicted. Like I remember in college, I would go over to her apartment, and then I knock on the door, and she opens, and she just jumps on me, and I just carry her.
I'm gonna cry because
Like,
it's so cute.
just-
Oh, I can't believe you guys broke up. I'm so sad.
it doesn't hurt though. It gives me kind of a warm feeling,
Okay.
and it gives me an idea of like what love could be. It could even be better than that.
I kind of get that. Maybe I'll get there in a month. Oh, I can't believe that didn't work out. That's like,
It did not work out. It went however far it was supposed to go.
yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
You know, after the relationship, she was like, you know, you made me a more confident person, and you know, she made me a more kind person, and that's helped me with my current work as well.
I think it makes you more human to have experienced such profound sadness and be able to hold it. But I think you can alchemize that sadness into gratitude, like, thank you for teaching me and leading me down to this version of myself. Because without her and that relationship, your life could have looked a lot different.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of good things during. There were a lot of good things after. The most painful thing I've ever gone through, but I'm still alive. She was like, "Hey, at least we end this way. Like, we ended on good terms. I don't have any bad impression of you. You don't have any bad impression of me." Yeah, so I don't know. It's not a happy ending. It's not a sad ending. It's just
life.
What is your relationship status?
I'm married, happily
Oh,
married.
yay.
Yeah. We just celebrated our 5-year anniversary.
I love that.
Thank you.
How did you guys meet?
I had a buddy who I was working with who's really looking for an apartment in San Francisco. And at
Yeah.
that time, it was so tough to find places. I happened to know someone moving out of a great place. So I
Uh-huh.
connected them. He was ready to move right in. And when he was filling out the roommates, my now wife, she had just moved to San Francisco, was looking for a place. So she filled one of those spots. I got invited to the housewarming party and I met her there. So
Oh my
I, did a buddy a solid and I got a wife out of it. Karma
Oh.
does work.
I love that story.
Yeah.
It wasn't a dating app.
Never lose faith, never lose hope.
No, I was starting to for a little bit. I guess my question is like your previous relationships before you met that one. Did you change in any way that made you maybe?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think with every relationship, whether it's like a single date or, a fling that lasts a few months, it requires a lot of self-introspection as to what happened, what went wrong. I think you can learn to be compatible with someone, and flexibility is super important. Don't be afraid to change.
What did you have to adapt to?
I think communication is one, and openness is another. So not being too cagey and afraid to share things went a long way in this one, whereas maybe I didn't do that in previous relationships. We were talking about my mom had cancer at one point and kind of what I learned through that. I feel like that
Like
really,
being vulnerable.
that was just something like the vulnerability, opening up much sooner was what made that relationship click. And she was the same way. She reciprocated it and shared a ton of her, life stories and everything. And we really bonded over that very early on.
How does that translate into marriage?
Oh, marriage is constant communication. We have a daughter now. That adds a whole layer of complexity, not just giving the attention that my wife needs, but also what my daughter needs. Right before I ran into you guys, I was actually going to just pull out my phone and call my wife on this walk in the park just to check in with her today. I haven't spoken to her since. Yeah, no, I mean, we can call her, get her on the line, right? I'll FaceTime her, put her on the screen. But I hadn't spoken to her since this morning, since I came into the city. And I thought it'd be great to just check in spontaneously.
And is that just something that you learned through like past mistakes or just because?
I think it's innate. It's, she's my soulmate. So
Yeah.
if there's too much space, I feel like I have to almost like bounce back like a rubber band to her.
What was it about her that made you feel like, oh, she was different or like she's the one?
She was so fun. We immediately were just smiles and laughter.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the first time I saw her. She was across the room and she was talking to this group of guys and she just like had this confidence about her that I found so attractive. Like
Yeah.
the way she handled herself in crowds. There's not many women like that.
Really want to meet her now.
Yeah, she's great. She's
Bring
great.
her next time.
She'd give a much better interview than me.
Old skin.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
So then once you guys start talking, what happened?
She'll tell you it wasn't love at first sight.
But it's good enough to keep going.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I kept some of that elusiveness. I did a really good job of planning dates. I put more thought into each of them just because I knew she was special.
Right.
The same neighborhood
Yeah.
bar.
Were you afraid though that like you would put in all this effort and it wouldn't work out?
No, because I just had faith that, it would work out for me eventually. If it wasn't her, it would be the next one and I would learn something from it.
Oh, I love that.
Where did you get that faith from?
You ask me like, where does that come from? Like,
in you?
are you born or do you learn it? Like, is there a book on
born
it?
wise.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, you get kicked to the curb enough, you like
born hopeful.
learn things. Yeah, you always, don't be a doomer.
What were you guys doing on the first dates? Like,
One was, I think, got to keep it casual. Like, you don't have to go to a nice fancy dinner.
Yeah.
We were there for a while. The first one we did drinks. I strategically planned this bar right next to a really good ice cream spot that I love. So I thought it'd be kind of fun instead of like, we're not going to get like wasted on our first date. So let's have like 1 or 2 drinks. I'm like, would you prefer to get some ice cream or get another drink? I don't know how you feel things are going, but kind of like giving her that choice, like allowing her to feel the control over, hey, we could end this now, or we could go do this fun thing I wasn't planning. I don't think that was like genius or anything, but it was just something like a little different than maybe.
You put thought into it.
I did put thought in it. And then you were asking about other dates. This was the winner. We went oyster shucking up in Tamales Bay.
That's cute.
Because that's like kind of romantic and it's like out there, nature, and it's beautiful, and you're eating oysters, which is romantic. So that was like a few dates in, but that was like what I think clinched it. She'll tell you too. That was the day we fell in love.
Oh, that's so cute. I'm a sucker for romance.
So that's within like a month or two, huh?
Yeah, it was within a month or two, and we had moved in together by like 5 months in.
Wow.
It went
You
from
just
like
knew.
0 to 100 really quick. Yeah.
But you think what was the shucking was just like the whole experience and being out in nature and just like, oh, this feels
You know what oysters do, do you?
You are the master blender, my friend.
I think you need to take some lessons from him.
Yeah.
That's all women want: drinks, ice cream, and oysters. If you can nail that, you're good.
That's how you get married.
And flowers. At any point, was there like fear or like, oh no, like were your friends like, you guys are moving too fast? Like, was there any doubt?
There was something that happened really quickly around that time. She moved to New York for a job.
Okay.
And I was still in San Francisco. And it was kind of like a challenge thrown my way. So I heads down, find a job in New York. And so we ended up moving in together in New York. And those are like the best years of our life, even though it was many years ahead of us. But it was like that challenge right away was kind of like, okay, if we can go through this, we can make it through anything.
And that was a couple years into the relationship?
No, 5 months. Yeah.
You literally like moved to a different city.
It was like I had to make that commitment really early. And I think that showed that like, if I'll do that, I'll do a lot, if not anything for you.
When did you get the feeling, start getting the feeling that she was your soulmate?
Oh, I think it was right away within a few dates. Yeah, it was just like, it felt so comfortable. It felt so easy. We had one string of dates where we actually ended up spending like the whole day together. Leaving each other after that like amount of hours together, I was like craving her and she felt the same way.
It was love at first sight for you, wasn't it?
It was. I was like, this girl is special.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but it was like getting to know each other, superficially. You can look at someone and be like, wow, she's so attractive. Or he's so attractive, but like you got to get below the surface.
Had you ever felt that way about another one before that?
I don't think so. I'd never felt anything like this.
Both a new feeling and an intense.
Yeah, it was super intense.
Can't wait.
I know. Can't wait for that to hit me.
One day.
I love that because I think it shows that like if you're supposed to meet your person, you will.
Do you feel very lucky?
I count my blessings every day.
Yeah.
I mean, wake up. I've got her next to me. We bring our daughter in bed with us every morning. Every day is the perfect life for me.
Oh my God! Wow, we just found this. We were hoping for like some sad sob story. No,
I'm
just
sorry.
kidding. I'm kidding. No, this is what we needed. And prior to meeting her, I guess like you didn't feel like this rush to find someone, or like were you like going on a lot of dates because you're like, I got to find the person? Like, what was your mentality or mindset like?
No, it was nothing like that. But I feel like I was at the age where if I did find the right person, I was much more open to committing. I feel like at 26, going to like the back half of my 20s, that's the ideal spot to really be like forming a relationship and really thinking about someone for the long term.
Yeah. So you were like open to a long-term relationship, but you weren't necessarily like, gotta find someone like frantically looking.
Right.
Can we try something? Can we call her up? And you just tell her how much you love her?
Yeah. Hey, Cam, how's it going? I just want to call and tell you I love you. I miss you.
Love you. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I think this is a YouTube channel. I'm being interviewed right now about our relationship.
You told us about the oysters.
I was giving them some of the secrets.
What's your favorite thing about Rob?
Rob is very spontaneous. I feel like he always goes above and beyond, taking me out or just like knowing what I need. Just a little like surprise in the relationship.
Did Rob ever tell you the moment he fell in love with you, or?
So what's funny, I feel like we both kind of knew in this like one moment.
What was that moment for you?
I can't really say it.
Was it post oysters or before oysters?
It was after the oysters.
The oysters work.
Let's go.
Well, he said it was kind of love at first sight, and I think we loved interviewing him because it's restored our faith in pure, spontaneous love and romance.
There is still love out there, and
Definitely.
Rob is the perfect example of that.
we're the perfect example of that.
Yeah, we needed that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for answering our questions.
Yeah, of course.
All right, thanks, Cam. I love you. Can't wait to see you tonight. Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Next
Have a tray of
episode-
oysters and interview her, and you can
Yeah.
kind of like hot ones, but like you're just shucking oysters. I think
Yeah.
that's genius.
Oh, that's our next
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
We're just gonna have oysters.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank
Cool.
you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you
Of course.
so much.
Yeah.
That was so great.
Of
Thanks for
course,
your
my
time.
pleasure.